ahead.
My name is Larry West, and I'm originally from West Virginia. I've been in Southern California now for roughly 60 years, kind of a second home. Come out here when I was 18 years old in the military, and decided I wasn't going to work in a work in a coal mine, so I stayed in Southern California. Met my wife, and we've been here since then. Yeah, we've got our own family going here, and I still have eight brothers and sisters on the East Coast. I see them once in a while.
Wow.
But I done 4 years in the Navy. I was with the amphibs. Most of that was done in Vietnam. I was there for 4 years.
Okay.
Finally come home.
You were in Vietnam 4 years?
Yeah.
Wow.
68, 69, 70, and 71.
Wow.
I participated in probably 100 amphibious operations all over Vietnam, mostly in the Mekong Delta and Saigon. One trip to Hanoi with a prisoner release, and went into Korea when they captured the Pueblo as a show of force. And that lasted for about a week, and then we finally come home. But I'd made one trip over there, and when I got back, a couple of days after I got back, that's when I met my wife, and we'd only been married. We'd been maybe 3 months together, and then we got married.
Where did you meet her? Here
in San Diego,
Okay.
Horton Plaza.
Oh,
And that was the old Horton Plaza then.
yeah,
It
where
was,
the mall.
Yeah,
the
but
mall
she was
now.
waiting on a bus to come back to El Cajon, and me being a drunken sailor, and I was drunk. I got arrested that night. A couple of weeks went by before I got to actually talk to her. Then everything progressed from there. And we got married in April, about 3-4 months later, and then 2 days after our wedding, I got sent back to Vietnam for a year.
Wow.
So, and we spent we'd been married for maybe 2.5 years before we actually spent a full week together. And most of the time I was, 'cause when I got back the second time, I was here for about 3 hours, and then they pulled us out, and we was going to decommission a ship up in Bremerton, Washington. I got up there, and I stayed 2 days, and then they sent me back to Vallejo, California. And I was up there for about 4 or 5 months. Most of that was spent in the hospital. And then when I got out of the hospital, went to TI for about 3 or 4 weeks, and got another ship going right back to Vietnam. Come back to San Diego, said bye to my wife, and went back to Vietnam for another 9 months. So,
She was indoctrinated into the military,
yes, she
like
was.
almost
Sure was.
pretty much instantly.
But we've been together now for 55 years.
55 years. Congratulations.
Yeah. Got 2 beautiful daughters and five grandkids, and one great grandchild and one on the way.
Wow.
So it's been a very productive life.
Yeah, pretty good journey. So what years again were you? What years of military service? How many years was it? 20 or
4 years, a little over 4 years.
4 total years, and all of that.
I went in December 1966, and I got out in February of 1971.
Wow. So you said 4 years in Vietnam, but I thought you were going to say maybe 4 years Vietnam, and then you came back. And
I went
but wow.
often, in between. I spent 8-9 months over there, and then come back, and then a month or 2, and then go back again. So
Right.
that's one of the reasons why I got out. I didn't want to go back over again.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Yeah.
And I figured if I'd have shipped over, I would have probably been there the last day of the war, which
Yeah.
I'd had enough of it.
Yeah, I don't blame you. That's quite an experience.
And
Just
then
to
when it did come back, it took me 9 days to to get back after they released me in Da Nang, and I kept waiting for flights and ships and stuff to get me back to the States. And then when I get here, it's entirely a different story. I wasn't told to leave the airport without taking my uniform off.
Yeah.
So, but as soon as I got here, that was it.
And you got out.
I got out and I went back east for a few weeks. Come back and got a job, and I've been here ever since then.
Yeah. What'd you do in the Navy? You said amphibious.
I was
stuff.
commissarman. I started out as a machine gunner, but the rate was closed, so I took the first rate that was open to make rank, and I became a third-class baker.
Third-class baker.
Best job in the military, I can see.
Yeah, I don't.
I had
Everybody loved you.
I got everybody was my friend, and I got to eat good.
Yeah.
And main thing is, nobody messed with me. I mean, it was.
You had all
I
the
could
bargaining
come.
chips.
I had one standard's liberty when we come to port. I could do my job and then leave the ship or whatever. But
Yeah.
it
So-
was good duty. Good duty.
Yeah. Amphibious. Would you explain a little bit about saying what that means?
That means
from your
we
context?
can go from air, water, land. The ships I were on were flat bottom boats, and they went up and down the rivers. They could maneuver in shallow water, and we would haul troops, their equipment, and take them from one place to another. Like if they had a hot spot somewhere and they needed some transportation real quick, we took them in and dropped them off at the beach, whatever, and then pull back out. Went and got another load, come back in and done the same thing.
Do you ever remember working with the 9th Infantry Army Division?
We worked with so many of them, it's hard to remember.
Hard to remember, I'm
I
sure, yeah.
remember the Korean Marines, we worked with them.
Yeah.
We did do the air cav a couple of times in Saigon. Most of the time, we've done a lot of goodwill work. We took a ferry boat down to the Mushroom Islands down in about 600-700 miles south of the Philippines. They had been waiting for that boat for, I think, 5 or 6 years. We picked it up in Yokosuka, Japan, and took it down there for them. That was an act of goodwill. Took a load of hospital beds to the Bikini Islands. That's where they tested the first nuclear bomb.
Yeah.
And they were just starting to allow people to go back. That's where I saw a rat that looked like a Shetland sheepdog. I mean, big wharf rats. We had to have
stuff had anything to
we
do
had
with
to
that?
have guys standing on the decks to shoot them if they tried to come up the the ropes.
Yeah.
And I mean, these were huge rats, but they would just scary all over the place down there.
Yeah. You think the nuclear?
More
stuff-
likely, yeah. But they were huge rats. But
Did they look different?
they just looked like a big dog running around.
Yeah.
But they were huge. But I got to go to a lot of places that I probably would have never went if I'd hadn't went in the Navy.
Yeah.
And had a great time though. The people that I met, it was just you create a bond with them that you'll never.
Sure.
As a matter of fact, I just contacted a friend of mine. I hadn't seen him in 50 years. We've served together on 2 ships. His name was Jack Skorspinski. He lives in Puerto Rico now.
Wow.
But I was able to contact him a couple of weeks ago, talk to him for a little while. So
That's
next
probably
time he
pretty
comes back to the States, he's got some daughters that live in Las Vegas, and he's going
Not
to
far
stop
from
by
here.
and let me know either that or I'll meet him in Las Vegas.
Yeah. Oh, good. That'd probably be quite interesting to catch up.
Oh yeah,
from
it's
the-
we used to go to Phoenix every now and then. That's where he was from, Phoenix, Arizona.
Yeah. Oh. Interesting.
We'd go over there on the weekends when we had a chance to get over there. And then when I went in the hospital up in Oakland, that's the last time I saw him. I hadn't seen him again since then. And that's been 50 some years.
Wow. Yeah, that'll be quite interesting.
We crossed the equator together twice. So,
And you do the
we
show
done
back.
the initiation, yes. Matter of fact, I crossed 4 times. I was first time I paid for it. The second time, the third time, I got to do a little initiation myself.
Yeah.
So it was a
You
lot
gotta
of
get
fun.
back.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's cool. The show back ceremony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have the certificates and everything for that. I need to frame them and put them up, but I haven't
Sure.
done it yet.
Yeah. So you're not a dirty wog.
No, I'm not a pollywog.
Pollywog, yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny. So you mentioned something about Korea, going back to Korea for a week. Where did
That
you go
was
there?
we was on our way back to the States, and it was in '68. That's when they captured the Pueblo, the North Korean.
The Pueblo or
the Pueblo.
Pueblo,
It
the
was-
ship.
Yeah, it was a ship.
Yeah, I think I remember that. It's
And,
the North
they-
Koreans
yeah, the Nor-
captured that. Or,
Yeah, and they pulled us out of our Liberty port in Yokosuka to just to make a show of power.
Sure.
And we cruised around up there for 4 or 5 days, and then they finally just sent us on back to the States.
Yeah.
So and I think they kept the ship for a year. Commander Booker was the captain of it. He was a native San Diego here, I think.
Yeah, did they? Is that? Maybe I got the story wrong, but is that one they basically tied up to a pier and then they had a bunch of tourists? You know, they let all the North Koreans come on there and look at it.
That I couldn't say, but I know they kept the ship for about I think they kept the ship. They finally released the crew about a year later, I think.
Yeah, I'll look it up and see, but I think it's like a tourist.
Yeah, they
Obviously,
may be.
obviously not
Yeah.
for tourists from anywhere but North Korea. But you know, I think that's
And then that first tour, I think it was in September. We were supposed to went to Australia for R&R, and they pulled us out. And since we were the junior ship, they sent us to North Vietnam with 14 prisoners, POWs. And it was supposed to be a 36-hour peace truce. And we went, that's the first time any ships had been north of the DMZ in years. So we went to a place just south of Hanoi. And we had to stay there long enough to make sure that they got to the shore. And we ended up giving them our $10,000 motor whaleboat. Their sampan broke down, so we had to make sure their safety was to get to the mainland.
Yeah.
And then once they got there, we pulled out and come back to Da Nang, South Vietnam.
Yeah. It was all up to them after
Yeah.
that.
And they figured, well, they were 14 sailors, and they figured the best way to release them was by the sea, send them back by boat. So that's what we done.
Yeah. Okay.
But I participated in probably a good 100 amphibious operations in the times I was there. And some of them were major events. My last one was the invasion into Cambodia. We were the primary support ship for that. And I spent 6 weeks on it. Well, I got a 90-day operational hold. And that's when I decided I'm going to come home.
Yeah.
So once we got, that was, I'd called my wife from the Philippines and told her I'd be home for Christmas. And it was about 2 weeks before Christmas then. And I forgot to tell her what Christmas. I didn't see her again. I didn't see her until 4 months later.
So you were definitely
I
you were
was
there for the
in-
next
yeah.
Christmas. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's interesting. Do you remember the ship names that
That
you
was,
were on?
I was the first one I was on was the USS Dubuque LPD-8. It was a brand new ship. I was probably one of the first 60-some guys to go aboard it down in Pascagoula, Mississippi. And
Say
then we-
pre-com, what they call
and
now.
then we- yeah, it was
pre-com.
being built at Ingalls Shipbuilding down there. And then we took it back to Norfolk, commissioned it September the 6th or the 8th, somewhere around there. But it was home ported out of San Diego. And then I came to San Diego when I got here 2 days before my birthday in November 1967.
Interesting.
I think
So,
we got here on the 23rd. My birthday was on the 25th.
of November.
And
Yeah.
the first day I was here, it snowed in downtown San Diego.
It snowed.
Snowed.
That's
And they
probably
said
quite
it
a
never
surprise.
snows in Southern California, but downtown San Diego it snowed.
Wow.
And that, you can look it up, it's on the record.
Wow. How much did it accumulate at all?
No,
or
it was just a, it was a heavy wet snow.
just
but
cold
it,
enough. Yeah. Just
It stuck
freeze
in
it up.
some of the higher elevations around the city, but
Yeah.
I was in the bay and I walked out on the flight deck. I was still in a t-shirt and dungarees and
Yeah.
and it was snowing.
Wow.
It was unbelievable.
That's amazing.
But,
I can't say that I've seen any snow here, at least in these areas.
but in the back country here, we got some high mountains out here, but
Yeah.
but
Like
downtown-
Alpine, I guess.
Yeah,
Alpine
downtown.
and-
It's I've seen it. I've seen snow on El Cap Mountain over here
Oh, really? Okay.
on a couple occasions,
Neat.
and
Interesting.
but it was interesting.
Yeah, sounds like it. So was that your only ship, or what?
No,
other ships
then
did you
I came back and I stayed aboard it until I was aboard it when I married my wife, and then I went back to Long Beach. We was taking on ammunition up there, and on the way back to San Diego, that was the weekend I got married. And on the way back to San Diego, I got transferred to the USS Colonial, LSD, which when we tied up at Pier 8, I just walked across the pier, took my sea bag and everything, and checked right aboard the ship. Went home and told my wife that I'll see her whenever I get back.
Yeah.
And I was gone again.
She was used to that.
And then I didn't get back until October, 1st of November. And we was here, we was here for about 3 hours. And
That's your-
then we took off again.
That was, you say USS Colonial?
That was USS Colonial, that was an LSD. And then my last one, I was TAD for a while to the USS Princeton, which was a bird farm, helicarrier. And that was for twin 40 millimeter machine gun mount training.
Oh, okay.
And then I went that was while I was on a Dubuque. And then after the Colonial, they decommissioned it in Vallejo, California. I went to Treasure Island. I stayed there 3 weeks, pulled shore patrol duty. And then I was got another ship, the LKA, which is a USS Tulare, and it's a troop carrier, and going right back to Vietnam.
Yeah.
And that was my last. That extended into 1971.
That was your last
And
one.
that was my last tour.
Okay.
But they offered me a nice chunk of change for a 6-year re-up. Being in a combat zone, it was tax-free money. And I'm going home.
It's not worth it,
No,
yeah.
it wasn't up. But like I said, if I'd have shipped over, I would have probably been there on the last day of the war. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
And but if they'd have gave me a ship on the East Coast or gone somewhere else, I would have shipped over in a heartbeat.
They say, yeah, guaranteed not to
Yeah,
go. Yeah.
not to go back to Vietnam again.
That makes sense, yeah. Well, interesting. So you've been married
55 years.
5 years now,
This
so-
April was 55 years.
This April, 55 years. What's your wife's name?
Mary?
Mary. Okay. And you met her here in San Diego.
Yeah.
She got indoctrinated into the military.
Oh, yeah, she
Uh,
didn't take her
spouse
long.
was-
Yeah.
yeah.
It was hi, bye, thank you, and goodbye. So, and then right back again.
Right back again. So, just remind me again. You have 4 or 2 girls,
2 daughters, yeah.
2 daughters, And then 5 grandkids.
Yep. And one great grandchild, little boy.
One great grandchild.
And then I got another little great granddaughter that'll be here in November this year.
Wow. So do they all live here in
Yeah,
San
they
Diego area?
all
or
live.
Lakeside?
Well, no, except the one that's got the great grandson. She lives in Mesa Verde, Arizona.
Where Mesa Verde is that near?
That's right outside of Tucson.
Tucson. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not too far. A couple
No,
hours.
no.
Couple hours.
Well, matter of fact, I had him in here yesterday. He took him out and run him through the park, and he playing with the ducks. And,
That's awesome. Yeah, Lindo Lake right here.
Yeah.
Did you ever take him fishing in there?
no, this first time I'd seen him in about he was here, I think Christmas. Been you know. So his mother will come and get him this weekend and take him back. So,
Yeah.
and I probably won't see him again until later this summer. You know.
Interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. I'm glad you got time with him.
Oh
Think
yeah,
about it.
he's
Yeah.
great little guy.
Yeah, grandkids nice. You can give them back.
Yeah,
When they-
spoil them and send them home.
Yeah, that's good.
I got one. My grandson. He's I think he's 25. He's a chef over at Hotel Del Coronado. He's been there for about 2 years now.
That's the big red one, huh?
The
right on the
big,
beach.
the big one, yeah.
Historical place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the historical.
Wow.
I've lived here for 55 years, and I've been there one time. And I was over there for maybe 20 minutes, and it cost me $35 for a 20-minute parking space, and that's enough, no more.
Yeah, I've only driven through the when I was driving for Lyft or Uber or something, and somebody needed a ride or picked up there, and that's what I did. Went right back out. So
Beautiful hotel, though.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah. It's all over. Pictures of it are internationally known. So yeah, movie stars.
Well,
everybody stays
White
there.
Earp, he stayed there. He played poker there.
Oh really?
Yeah, they got the rooms marked. There's been quite a few celebrities stay there.
Yeah, interesting.
I've been here at the VFW now for almost 40 years, and it's like a second family. You know. The people here are great. I'm a double lifetime member. I'm a bronze member, and I volunteer all the time. I do a lot of work around, and the people, I love working with the people around here. It's the group of guys that we have are just fantastic.
Yeah.
And you just can't find them anywhere else. Yeah.
So what made you join initially?
Well, my daughter was fixing to get married, and needed a place to hold the reception, and I came in here and looked at the hall, and they said, well, if you join, we can give you a good discount, so I joined.
Yeah, makes sense.
Been here ever since then.
That's good. I'm glad you did.
Yeah. I've seen it go. We went. It was in pretty bad shape when I first came here, but we've last 4 or 5 years we've really done a lot of work.
Yeah, I've definitely seen.
I've painted the outside of it twice, and it needs it again. So, and it's a big building.
How long does it take you to paint?
I got a sprayer.
Okay, you're not doing it by hand.
No, I think the first time we done it, it took us about 3 weeks because we had a lot of prep work to do and stuff.
Yeah. Well, but now
It
it's
was multicolored and everything around it.
Huh.
So. And one of the guys got the paint donated, which was about $2,000 worth of paint.
Yeah, I was gonna say how many gallons? Do you
I
know
used,
how many gallons it
I
is?
think I used 60 gallons,
Jeez,
the 5-gallon buckets. So,
wow, 60 gallons. Yeah, it
That's
is
a lot
big
of paint.
building, so yeah.
well, it's like I said, it's a big building, yeah.
And this building was, if I get my history, if I remember right, was this built initially for VFW?
Yes, it was. No, it was it's a war memorial building, and it was donated to the VFW. I think somewhere around 1948,
Okay.
and that's what it's been ever since then. but it was built in 1946.
Yeah, initially as
Yeah.
You say War
War
Memorial.
Memorial Building, yeah.
Like a sort of
It's
museum.
on the front, yeah,
Oh, that's what that means. Okay.
yeah,
Oh wow. So then the VFW got it. We've had it ever since.
yeah.
And,
It was donated to the, as a VFW building.
interesting. And what about all the stuff that was here for the War Memorial
Well,
presence?
they used to have a lot of the stuff, but I guess over the years it's been loaned out, went somewhere. Just
You're right. Yeah.
you can see a little remnants of here and there, once in a while. And I like when I was cleaning the attics out up here, I found a lot of stuff from the Cooties. It was a group that worked out of here. And
Cooties.
yeah, I turned that over to they still have the group. And I don't know where they meet at now. And then
What do they do?
I just, tell you the
Interesting
truth,
name.
I don't know.
Interesting name.
Yeah, you'd
to
have
look
to
it
do
up.
some research work
Yeah,
on that.
interesting. Cooties.
Yeah. But all of their, I had a whole big bunch of blank checks for them. I know, well, man, I can write some checks here,
Yeah, but at least give them over.
But we've had guys like Victor Gravison.
Yeah.
He passed away a couple of years ago. But anywhere you look in this building, you can see Victor's, handiwork. Like this wall here,
Yeah.
he designed that. We put it together.
Oh, this
Yeah,
piece of wood, like
the
woodwork.
bathrooms, the ladies' restroom over here, and those picnic tables out on the patio with him and I and Jeff and Dupree, our quartermaster. We put those. We built those probably 10, 15 years ago, and then they need work now.
Yeah.
Yeah, little stuff here, little stuff there. Yeah.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
the windows out in the front in the dining hall, the ones we had there before. And Victor was a contractor,
Okay.
and we took them all out, bought one new windows, and put them in. And the man was phenomenal.
So yeah, he knew how to.
Oh yeah,
He knew how to do a lot. Huh?
he measured once and cut it, and that was it. He'd bring it back in, and it'll fit, and it fit.
So he was an expert. He
Oh
was a
yes,
subject matter expert.
He was an expert.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I remember Victor. I do.
Yeah, he was a great guy.
Yeah.
He used to be my quality control guy in the kitchen when I was cooking, and he'd eat all the mistakes. Oh God, I seen him eat 15 eggs because the guy couldn't cook them right.
Oh no. So he just ate them.
Yeah, he gets to eat the mistakes.
I noticed that in there in the kitchen, when I go in there and I work, I see Larry's kitchen up there. What's the
He
meaning
was the one that
behind
done that. Victor was the one that done that. He went out and got cause at that time it was just just 4 or 5 of us that was, I think for about a year I done breakfast and hamburgers every weekend, and it just got to the point that I couldn't get the help to help me, so
Yeah.
I quit. Now I still do a lot, but
Oh yeah. Yeah. I see you. Yeah. I see you. Pretty much when I come here to help, you're here doing something.
Yeah.
You're checking on us or teaching
But,
us or showing something.
it's just a great bunch of guys.
Have you ever held any like commander or,
No,
or any
no,
other
I
positions?
leave the politics to the politicians.
Yeah, but you are part of the House Committee.
Building committee.
Building
I was
committee,
on the
yeah.
House committee the House committee. I was on there for a while.
Yeah.
I was a trustee once. When they started turning everything over to the computers, that's when I stepped down because I don't want anything to do with computers.
Yeah, yeah.
I have trouble working my phone, much less a computer.
Don't blame me. There's a lot of times they cause more trouble than
Yep,
they're
yep.
worth. But
I get them on, can't get them off, or can't get them back on, or I'll push the wrong button, and order a bunch of stuff I shouldn't have ordered.
That's what- So what about military and the family? What made you join the Navy? Did you have family that joined, or
My dad was in the Navy, but at the time I joined, they still had the draft. And I figured if I sat around and waited for the draft, I would end up in the Army, and then I knew I would have went to Vietnam.
Mhm.
You know, and
that'd been much different?
yeah, so
context
I
then,
volunteered, and while I was in boot camp, I got my draft notice. And my dad wrote on there, in service, and that was the end of it. So, but yeah, I basically volunteered to miss the draft.
Yeah, by going in.
Yeah, and I think that was probably a few years later. That's when they finally done away with the draft and went
Yeah.
to the lottery system. Like, you waited for your birthday to be called or whatever.
Yeah, they would
month,
they
yeah.
announce it on TV.
Yeah.
Everybody with this birthday.
They come
you
in
gotta
and
come in.
get drafted.
Huh.
But no, I loved it. I was 18 years old, and I got to see a lot of the world.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's definitely interesting. Yeah.
But it was a great experience. I mean, like I said, I went to a lot of places, met a lot of friends, made a lot of friends, and done a lot more than what I'd ever done if I'd have stayed where I was at. And
Yeah,
I'd
like-
probably be dead today from black lung or something like that,
Yeah, like you said.
working in the coal mines. And I grew up in a coal camp, southern West
Okay.
Virginia. Yeah.
Gotcha. Is that what your dad was? He?
Yeah,
coal
he
miner?
he lived. He was 81 when he died, and he only had one lung from 1968 to 2000. He died in 2005.
Wow.
But he'd been a coal miner all his life. And,
Wow. Interesting. Okay. So, what I'll do is give you a chance to wrap it up and say, is there any last minute things you would like to say that would be the final words for this, that people,
Well,
if they only hear one thing from you, what would you want them to hear?
just that all veterans take care of veterans, and we're just one big family, and we're always there for each other, and you couldn't ask for any greater group of people than the vets,
Okay.
because we went through a lot together, we saw a lot together, and we know what the other guy needs
Yeah.
to survive on.
All right.
And it's one of the greatest families I've ever had,
Yeah.
and I'm proud to be one.
All right.